My chosen pioneer to discuss today is Emily Pankhurst, who was born on the 15th of July 1858 but died in 1928. She was most known for her work alongside the suffragettes in order to gain the electoral vote for women. Together with her husband, Richard Pankhurst, they created the Women's Suffrage League, and this league was known as a group of men and women who fought for the equality for women. So the Women's Suffrage League reports by Fassowit reports that the league went to extreme lengths in order to gain a lot of publicity. So they had public protests, which resulted in a lot of violent acts. They cut letter bombing, they cut telephone wires, and they did lots of letter bombings in order for people to hear what they wanted to portray their message. So in 1903, Pankhurst started the Women's Political Union, which joined with the Suffrage League, which created the suffragettes. And no, it was never reported how many suffragettes there actually was, but it was known that in 1908 there was over 300,000 suffragettes, both men and women, who protested in a Sunday procession. So Pankhurst, throughout her life, resulted in a lot of imprisonment. And while she was in prison, she was in Holloway prison, and she went on a hunger strike with other ladies who was in the prison, and this called for the Cat and Mouse Act to come into play. The Cat and Mouse Act is an act that allows prison mates, if they're ill, they're allowed to leave the prison, reform and become better, and then re-enter the prison in order to finish their sentence. So Pankhurst's work had lots of different outcomes, but the main outcome was on the 6th of February 1918, an act was passed that allowed women over the age of 30 to gain the electoral vote, but they had to reach a certain criteria, as well as they had to have a husband who also met this criteria. So then in 1928, a further act was passed which allowed women over the age of 21 to actually gain the electoral vote as well. Pankhurst never got to see this because she died 4 months before the act was passed. And the British National Oxford Dictionary informs me of this. So Pankhurst's work relates to education because Pankhurst gained equal voting. So this has taught a lot of women about politics around in the country, and it's also taught a lot of children that if you believe in something, then if you keep going to it, they can eventually achieve the outcome that they want to achieve. It also taught not just children, but publicly, it taught the society a lot about the topic of gender inequality, and that it is still actually dominant in today's society because males are still overcoming women